Hi, I'm Jim Gary, and welcome to Patilipi's Workshop. I've spent a bit of time locating and purchasing all the parts I need for the new Vortec 7.4-liter long block motor that's going back into my 26-year-old Workhorse-based motorhome. And in this video, I had to go back in the motorhome to remove the oxygen sensors and get that fuel filter out that needs to be replaced. I also show and compare some of the new parts with the original parts. Please be aware that I'm a biologist, not a professional mechanic, and I'm showing you what I did, not what I think you should do. So please consult a professional before taking on work like this. As always, I welcome any comments or suggestions you may have, and if you found this video interesting, there are links to my other videos in the description below. So please like and subscribe. Now let's get on with that video. I bought my long block motor from VMC, Vancouver Machine Company, and it was about $4,000 plus shipping and a $600 core fee on top of that. And when I've rebuilt engines in the past, I've always done it all myself, you know, taking the engine block and the head into machine shops and reassembling everything myself. But in this case, I decided to buy a long block. And a long block is the block along with the heads and the timing chain and all that stuff already put together for you. And what they said, they recommended that I replace all these things. The valve lifters, well, they came with it because it was a long block. An oil pump, they provided a new oil pump. Push rods were in there, rocker arms already in there, a new oil pump with a new screen, new spark plugs, points, condenser, motor mounts, oil filters, air filters, water pump, thermostat, PCV valve, and grommets, and clean lines. And they also said to make sure the EGR valve is operating, and I just bought a new one of those. So there's a lot of new parts I had to buy, and I just kind of wanted to go through those now. But the main thing I bought were new fuel injectors. Because as you probably recall, if you've been following my channel, what caused the old engine to bend the connecting rod was the fact that one of the cylinders was full of gasoline, and that was because one of the fuel injectors locked open and filled that cylinder completely with gasoline, and then the compression of the other cylinders trying to turn the engine over caused that crank to bend because gasoline is an incompressible liquid. So I bought these upgraded Bosch 4-hole fuel injectors, and these are supposed to be more reliable. The OEM fuel injectors that I had in there are known for failing fairly frequently, and my engine, even though it was old, only had 22,000 miles on it, but something caused one of the injectors to stay open, and that's what ruined my engine. So this was about a $500 set, but I think it's worth it. So I bought these from Precision Auto. So this is the fuel pressure regulator, and they suggest if you replace your injectors, you should also replace the fuel pressure regulator. So that's what this is. This is Delphi. It's FP10021. So it's a wonderful day here. It's getting hot and humid, so it's early. I'm going to go in and try to pull out the fuel filter. And it's forward of the fuel tank, but it's just kind of in front of the back wheels. So I got to crawl under there and with the light and everything. I think I got the right wrenches. So let's see what happens. I'm under the RV on the right side toward the rear. Those are the rear tires there. And forward of the rear tires is this. This is the evap canister to capture fuel. I think these are just charcoal boxes here. Here's the fuel filter. And there's a bolt back here. Guess you can see it there. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out the bolt that holds the bracket on. It's a 1/2-inch socket. And it's threaded right into the frame. There's no nut on the other side. There it is. Hat-shaped bolt. Not a whole lot of fuel should come out, but if it should, I'm prepared to stop the flow if I have to. But let's see. This is a 13/16 here, and I believe this is a 5/8 here. There we go. I just can't get enough leeway to get that hose off. So there's brake lines here, and there's fuel lines, so it kind of looks like a jumble of stuff. There we go. That's going to loosen it up enough. Okay, so that's loose. A little bit of fuel out of there, but not much. So let's try the back end. It's not the easiest reach. I think I got it loose, but boy, that smarted. Hang my finger up on that cross piece. Yep. And I'm taking this out because I have so many times ordered the part and find out that it's the wrong part. Yeah, it's loose, so I can just loosen it up. So the fuel filter was full of fuel, but there's no fuel there. But I see there's an O-ring seal on each of these. So I'm going to put plastic around the ends just so I don't get any bugs crawling in my fuel tank or whatever. So there's the fuel filter right there. Came out nicely. I was curious about the fuel filter. I kind of wondered what it looked like inside. So this is the old one that I took off, and the flow goes this way. So when I cut it in half on my bandsaw, basically it looks like fuel goes in here and around the outside of this filter, and then has to go through the filter to get into the outlet there. So that's how it seems to work. So here's my original fuel filter. And I got the Fram G3727 as the replacement. Let's just make sure that looks the same. Make sure that the fittings are the same. Yes, they are. I don't want to be messing with this later, so this is the one I'm going to put in. So I'm locating the oxygen sensors, and there could be two sets. One called downstream, which is downstream of the catalytic converter. So here's one of the catalytic converters. And then here you see a heat shield, and then there's a bolt. Well, if there were a downstream sensor, it would go there. And there's not one, and I've checked, there's no wiring harness, there's no wire right around it. And for the other catalytic converter, the same thing. There's a heat shield, and then there's just a plugged hole. So I don't think I have to worry about those. My understanding is they aren't always present on these old workhorses, but the upstream ones are, so let's go look at those. So now I'm kind of even with where the transmission is. The transmission's right over here, but this is the exhaust pipe that came off the left side manifold. What I'm pointing to is the oxygen sensors, and it's got a wiring harness that I've unplugged already. So I'm just going to squirt that with PB Blaster thoroughly. And I'll come back a little bit later and try to take it out. And there's one on the other side too, so let's go take a look at that one. So this is the right side, and here's the oxygen sensor on just below the right side exhaust manifold. So I'm going to squirt that down good with some PB Blaster. Just make it easier to take it out later. So to get the oxygen sensors out, you need a tool like this, and I think this is pretty much the standard tool. They have others. This is a kit for, I think it was $16 on Amazon, but it's got various kinds, but I think this is all I'm going to need. So here's the wire, and here's the socket. It's 22 millimeters, but it's got a slot for the wire. Then it goes on, and it's just a little tricky to get it on all the way, but there it is. I don't have a lot of room to work here, but let's see if I can't get it loose. But now I've got a piece of pipe to put on the wrench. If it'll fit. Yep, it will. There, broke loose. So there's what it looks like. And I think the thing I really wanted to make sure was that I got the right part. And I see a part number embossed on it, so hopefully I'll be able to match that. Now, I had a hard time finding what parts actually go on my Workhorse, because a lot of the companies that sell parts for the big Vortec engines don't list in particular the Workhorse from the year 2000. So I had to work. I use Grok a lot. Grok was really helpful, although Grok made mistakes once in a while, but I would notice them and Grok would help me resolve the issues. This is my original sensor I wanted to put, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I wanted to put new ones in just in case. And it's got an 18 thread per inch thread on it. And this is the new one. It's the one that is recommended for the Vortec engines for the years I have. And it's different. The head's different a little bit, but that's just changes over the years. And the important thing too is the plugs are identical, so it'll wire in just fine. And I've got my Permatex aluminum anti-seize lubricant when I put it in. Got a new thermostat, GM, for the right temperature, hopefully, or 131-87. These are gaskets for the thermostat. I just bought a box of them because they were just about as cheap as buying one. So these are the anti-knock sensors. The old one of them was damaged, so I'm replacing both of them. They're not that expensive. And this is AC Delco 213-4458. It looks exactly like the old one. I wanted to make sure my EGR valve was good, so I bought a new one. This is made by Delphi. It's EG10026. 11B1. And it comes with, I guess, a gasket. Instructions. And here's the valve. And it looks just like the one I have in there already. Here's the original PCV valve, and here's the new one. They're the same diameter on the back and the top, but the new one's just a slight bit shorter. And my understanding is, as long as you can shake it and hear it rattle, it's okay. And the old one still shakes and rattles fine, so it's probably okay. And these are pretty generic, but this one rattles as well. The manual for the engine said to replace the PCV elbows and all that stuff. So this is part of it. Those are the elbows. And I believe this is the, yeah, these are the parts that go through. And I'm not sure if these are right. I gotta check them. This is another elbow I bought just because I wasn't sure which one would fit. So I've got this in addition to the other, this elbow. So we'll see which one I need. Now my radiator cap, again, if you've been following this, you'll see that my radiator cap had some issues. It was on there so tight I could hardly get it off. And I ordered two different radiator caps, one from AC Delco, and then I ordered another one from, it's a Chinese one. But these are both 15 or 16 pound. It says 16 on that. This one says 15, and 15 I think is the appropriate one. But I've got two of them, just in case. Again, they're not expensive. This one puzzled me. It took me a long time to figure out what it is, how it works. But basically on the old oil pump, this rod here connects just via this plastic sleeve. And what they said is in the instructions with the new engines to make sure I replace it with a pinned metal sleeve. So this is a metal sleeve here, and there's a pin that holds it in place all the way through. This will go on the new pump, not the old pump. So when it came to electronic parts, I tried to order from United Automotive, as they're considered a reputable company. So this is my new coil. Came with some grease, so that should match my old coil. United Automotive, a full set of ignition wires, pre-made. They're made to fit this application, so they should work perfectly. I got NGK Iridium spark plugs, highly recommended, from somewhere. This is my United Motor ignition control module. Comes with thermal grease. This is my new distributor. It's, again, United. And I didn't get the cheap one. If you look at the original one here, the body is plastic. And I wanted one that just felt cheesy to me, so I ordered this slightly more expensive one. I think you can buy the plastic ones for like 50 bucks, and this was like 100 bucks. But it looks so much better to me. Oh, it came with its own clamp, so that's good. So it looks pretty much the same. Yep, it's got the same wiring plug like it should, but it's got a metal post down there instead of a plastic one, which is nice. And the last new part in this batch is my new water pump, because I didn't want to have to be replacing that water pump. So this is AC Delco. It wasn't cheap. So I'm pretty happy with that. So those are all the new parts I've acquired so far. I still got a few more things to figure out that I need to order. Obviously, rubber hoses, the radiator hoses, all that kind of stuff. And I need to get spattering of other things. By the way, I think I covered this already, but this is my new harmonic balancer. And it's a dead match for the old one, so that's perfect. But this is really nice because it's calibrated. The old one, I couldn't find these markings anymore. But this has markings for above and below top dead center. So I'm getting very close to installing the new motor, and I think there'll be one more video on removing the transmission mount and having a look at the new motor mounts next week, and then engine assembly will finally start. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Similar videos of mine are linked in the description below. Bye.